Syria calls on the UN to take immediate measures against the Qatari regime for its support to the armed terrorist organizations. The Syrian Arab Army and the Lebanese resistance take control of several areas in Qalamun. And Saudi airstrikes continue in Yemen, and the army responds through shelling military sites inside Saudi Arabia. Good afternoon. Syria has called on the UN to take immediate measures against the Qatari regime for the support it provides to the armed terrorist organizations in Syria. In reply to the false allegations made by the Qatari regime in its message addressed to the UN Security Council, which comes within the framework of its desperate attempt to improve its image and its pro-West practices, the Foreign Expatriates Ministry has addressed two identical letters to the UN Secretary General and the Chairman of the UN Security Council, pointing out that it is ridiculous that the Qatari regime has joined the chorus of countries that have been set on sending to the Security Council and the Secretary General identical messages against Syria that are full of misleading deceptions and twisting of facts. Syrian Arab Army units have dealt severe blows to Nusra terrorist hideouts, eliminating many of them in Damascus' southwestern countryside. They also destroyed machine gun vehicles and weapons in Beit Jinn and killed and wounded other Takfir terrorists in Khan al-Sheikh and the western farms in Al-Husayniya village. In Home suburb, an army unit destroyed a terrorist hideout in Al Restan, as other army units damaged machine gun provided vehicles in Tel Buthaina in Suwaida's countryside. In Daraz outskirts, heavy losses have been inflicted on Israel-linked gunmen in two villages. In Aleppo, the Syrian Arab Army has eliminated a number of Takfiri gunmen and destroyed their vehicles and line of supplies from the Turkish regime in the city's northern and northwestern countryside, particularly in Hayyan village on the highway leading to Turkey. Terrorist hideouts were also targeted southeast of Aleppo, leaving armed men killed or wounded. Inside the city, the army carried out operations eliminating a large number of Nusra gatherings in 8 neighborhoods. In Al-Hasaka, Syrian Arab Army units also destroyed ISIS terrorist hideouts in the city's southern countryside, inflicting heavy losses on them in men and material. In Al-Qalamun, Syrian Arab Army units and the Lebanese resistance have taken control of Ras al-Kush and Sharbat al-Tamsa, Sharbat Wadi al-Ahmar and Qarnat Wadi al-Ahmar in Al-Jarajir prairies. The Iraqi army has eliminated scores of terrorists in various areas in Iraq and arrested 3 ISIS terrorists, including a former intelligence officer. 81 terrorists have so far been killed and a large number of vehicles destroyed within Dajla Operations Command province. The Iraqi Air Force also killed 28 terrorists, wounded others, destroyed 2 vehicles, and dismantled 6 explosive devices in 3 districts in Salahuddin Governorate. Iraqi troops also thwarted several terrorist attempts to attack confrontation lines, killing 53 and damaging 5 vehicles. The Iraqi Air Force also killed 16 terrorists in Arjail oil fields in Salahuddin. The Iraqi army had yesterday started a military operation to liberate Al-Siniya district west of Biji from ISIS terrorists. 4 Yemeni civilians were killed and scores injured following new air raids by Saudi warplanes on the governorate of Al-Juv east of Yemen. 3 Yemeni citizens were killed and 6 others wounded following another air raid on the city of Taz. Meanwhile, the Yemeni army, in cooperation with the People's Defense, fired 65 rockets into the Saudi military positions, scoring direct hits. 1 Palestinian man was killed by Israeli troops during an incursion campaign into Jenin camp in the West Bank. Palestinian sources said that occupation troops opened fire and threw sound bombs at Palestinians, causing the death of a 20-year-old person. The Israeli soldiers also arrested a number of Palestinians across several towns in the West Bank. A suicide bomb attack has been carried out on an ancient site popular with tourists in the Egyptian city of Luxor. The explosion happened at the temple of Karnak, which is one of the most popular destinations for foreign visitors. A security source has said that no tourists were injured in the attack, although 4 Egyptians were wounded. Meanwhile, a security source said that 16 terrorists were killed and 2 cars loaded with explosives were destroyed by Egyptian army in Sheikh Zayed region north of Sinai. With this, we conclude our news for today. To watch our news bulletin again, you may visit our Facebook page, Syria TV channels. You may also watch the Syrian satellite channel live on YouTube. And now to our economic news with Serena Ruka.
Good afternoon. The Cabinet has discussed in an extraordinary session the reality of marketing wheat and cotton, in addition to transporting them for the season of 2015 and ways of improving the performance of the agricultural sector to boost the national economy. The Minister of Domestic Trade has demanded the Chambers Federations of Trade, Industry, Agriculture and Craftsmen to order the economic activities in order to comply with the prices of goods, clothes, especially during the holy month of Ramadan. Moreover, he asserted the importance of providing the commodities and the products with high quality in specific prices. On the other hand, the Minister has also asked the Consumer Protection Association to exert more efforts during Ramadan, noting that all commodities are available in sufficient quantities and there is no need to increase the demand on them in order to achieve a balance between the supply and demand and provide the goods at affordable prices. Chairman of Tartus Chamber of Trade and Industry stressed the importance of considering Tartus city as a free zone to be a major economic center for Syria and the neighboring countries compared to other coastal cities in other countries. He also underlined the importance of this step, which will provide a remarkable national income for Syria, as it will be the main supporter for reconstructing Syria and achieving the industrial movement. The Central Bank of Syria has set the exchange rate of the US dollar against the Syrian pound at 276.36 for the banks and 276.37 for the exchange companies. The Central Bank has also set the exchange rate of the US dollar against the Syrian pound for transfers at 275. On the other hand, the euro exchange rate against the Syrian pound was set at 312.57 for the banks and 312.59 for the exchange companies. Oil prices rose today as U.S. inventories were set to drop further, and after the Energy Information Administration raised its 2015 oil demand growth forecast. European stocks were little changed after falling for 6 days, while Japan's Nikkei share average fell to a 3-week low today and suffered its 4th consecutive losing session. Gold rose for a 3rd straight session today, helped by a softer dollar and worries over the Greek debt crisis, but a looming U.S. interest rate increase and outflows from bullion-backed funds continued to weigh on the market. The dollar dropped to a 2-week low against the yen today after Bank of Japan governor said that the real effective exchange rate shows the yen is very weak. With this, our economic news for today. Thank you and goodbye.